Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices, and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Welcome back to the series. If you like this, you might love some of these other games. Today we're going to be taking a look at actually two games. They're party games from back in the late 80s that I played a ton as a kid. Now usually we just focus on one game and then games that are sort of similar to it that you might love. Today we're doing two of these together because they're both similar in the ways that they work. Again, they're party games. Scattergories is a game back in the day where you would try to come up with unique answers about things, but they had to start with a certain letter. And you're trying to basically get points by finding something in that category under a time crunch that does not match anyone else. In Outburst, it was more like a top 10 list. You'd get a category and you're trying to come up with as many answers as you can that would fit on those lists. So both of these are sort of party games that have a timer and you're trying to come up with lists of things. So I have three different games that are much newer, they're modern, and they take sort of these things and give it another twist. And all of these three games, I pretty much have replaced these other games for me. So let me show you about these. The first one is called Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout. Now this one is more like Outburst because it's about sort of coming up with lists of things that are like the best of things, top 10 lists and things like that. Let me give you a quick 1-minute overview of how this works. Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout is a party game for 3 or more players where your team is trying to be the first to get to 5 unique drinks. You'll get these drinks by getting the most hits or the most correct answers on a specific question that will be asked to both teams, like the 10 leading coffee ground brands in the United States. You list them all. You get a minute for your team to come up with your different answers, and then each team will give one answer at a time. Whoever gets the most out of 3 will win the card. If it's tied, you go to a crazy question that you'll have to guess. Here's what the card would look like for the quizmaster, who would be telling them yes or no and then reading them out at the end, and then asking the last chance crazy question if it was tied, and the winner would get this. Which on the backside, of course, is a drink. If you get more than one drink that you don't need, well, you could trade in any 2 drinks you don't need to confiscate a drink from the other team. If you have 3 that you don't need, you can get any drink you want. First to 5 drinks wins. Now, yes, it does have that Outburst feeling, but I like this better because it's a team game. You know, you have teams, and each teammate is going to be writing answers down under the timer of the different things that are part of that category. And then when the timer is up, one player is going to be that captain, right? So it's fun because everyone passes the paper to them, and then it's sort of more like a game where that player has to decide between all the answers my teammates have given me, which is the one that I think is going to be the most likely on there, right? And try to get those easy ones out first. So when you get to the harder, more unique ones, maybe you've come up with more crafty answers than the other teams, and you'll be able to score the points and get the card. And I like that aspect because it really has a gamery aspect to it because of that. Now the only downside is each round, one player is this sort of MC, and that can move around. So that player's not really playing, but it's still fun to be that. That could be a negative for some, but this is a really fun game. And when you're the team leader, you have some tough choices to make. But it still feels Outburst-ish, and you also have sort of that gamerness of where you're trying to get a certain amount of the different types of cards that you can win to win the game. But overall, if you liked Outburst, I think this takes that aspect, and again, that team aspect and the order that you select and say your answers is really the big fun of this game, and it's always fun just to learn all these different things as well. So Mr. Lister's Quiz Shootout, a great one. This next one has become an absolute staple. I bring this to pretty much every party I go to. It's called Sixes. This is from Eagle Griffin Game. Now, it looks very generic, and it is very generic looking and feeling. However, the game is amazing. And it's very much like Scattegories in the fact that you're under a timer, and you're going to be coming up with different answers for a specific category. Now, it's different in the fact that there's multiple rounds. In Scattergories, you're doing the same thing every round. You have 3 rounds, you have the same categories every round, you're just changing the letter and you're trying to be unique. It's very static. Where this is very dynamic. Like the first round, there's a category and you're writing as many things as you can about that single category. You don't have the limitation of the letter like you do in Scattergories, just anything. And you're trying to match others. And that's different from, it's the opposite of Scattergories. And it's fun to try to match people when you're going around the room. It's like, oh, you got this? Oh, I got this. Oh, great. We both thought the same. And it gives you sort of a bond that Scattergories didn't. For example, on the match side, maybe you have the word wheel and you're coming up with different things like wagon wheel or steering wheel and things like that. So you're just trying to think of different things in and around that category. But then in round 2, same sort of thing, but you're trying to be unique. And that's very similar to Scattergories, except you're taking the limitation of the die of the letter out that you have to start it with. You know, maybe it's flower and you're trying to decide, do I put petals on there? Is that too obvious? Do I put a type of flower? Do I put a stem or something that has to do with a flower? And you can be very creative with this. And then the third round is a lightning round, where instead of coming up with 6 different answers for one category, you're coming up with one answer for 6 different categories in a lightning round, and you're also trying to match, which again I like better than the Scattergories uniqueness because you're trying to form that bond with that player. So this takes an idea like Scattergories and makes it so much better for me. I've never seen this go over bad. It always goes over well. And this is one of those games that you can easily play around the couch. Same with the previous one too, is sit around the couch, everyone just has something to write on, and you just go around and it's just a blast. So if you like that Scattergory style game, this one, in my opinion, is my favorite of the bunch for that. Now the last of the 3 I'm going to talk about is called Choice Words. Now this is very mass market party game style. And in this game, again, it's a little bit similar to, say, Scattergories, but again, a little bit different. Sort of a cross between the 2 games that I've already talked about. In this one, there's 2 types of play, and when it's your turn, you get to choose which one you want, which is a cool twist. You can play match play, which means you're trying to come up with portions of sayings, but you want to match at least one of the player, and for each player you match, you're getting an additional point. So the more obvious it is, the most obvious answer will probably score the most points. So you have blind blank, and do you put blind mice? Do you put blind man? Do you put blind spot? What do you do? What's everyone else gonna do? And you have like blank pipe. Is it smoking pipe? Is it lead pipe? You know, blank knife. Is it kitchen knife? Is it, sharpening knife? I don't know. So you're trying to think of what that is. And so that's cool that you're trying to match, or on your turn, you can select scratch play. And then you're trying to be unique. You're trying to not match others, similar to sort of the other games we talked about. And maybe it's like work. And so you're trying to come up with a phrase that is unique, like man at work, or work to the weekend, or, whatever, under work in progress. Think about it. So you're trying to be unique in that way. So I like that this one gives you the choice of which way to play. And I like that you're trying to finish phrases, which is different from the other games that I've mentioned. And you're also trying to come up with phrases yourselves for this. So it's a little bit more thinking of more sentences, a little bit larger scale things, but it still has similarities to the other ones. Well, there you go. There's 3 games that you might love if you like those old school 80s party games, Outburst and Scattergories. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Did you miss the Game Topper 2.0 Kickstarter? Have no fear. It's not too late to get in on the ultimate gaming accessory. Convert your table into a high-quality gaming table with a fully portable Game Topper system and take advantage of some of the best 3mm premium gaming mats in the industry. New styles, new sizes, and new accessories can be yours. Upgrade every game you play by late backing now at GameToppersLLC.com.